how I'm ever going to get to sleep. I am just so, I'm so tired, but at the same time, I am so stressed out with everything that's going on right now that I can't relax. It's like my nerves and my muscles are all just tense, and I can't relax them, and so I can't fall asleep even though I'm tired. I would hope that they would just go away. This family over everything thing that they do, they never treated me like family. They kept me in a cage, in a woodshed, behind the house, from the time I was 8 years old until I was 31. And they said they did that because I wasn't a human. I was a demon. A demon had come in, taken the real baby, and left me in its place, and I was a demon, and that's why they put me in that cage. And I escaped, and I left, and I haven't been near them for 30 years. And now they're mad. You don't desert family. The only way you leave this family is if you're dead. So what did they do? They put a bomb in my house and blew my house up. And I survived. Who the hell knows how? That was when I was wearing a wig for a while because it burned all my hair off. I was asleep. That's a large part of why I have issues with sleep now, where if I fall asleep, I don't sleep soundly and any sound wakes me up, because I used to sleep soundly, but 1 a.m. a bomb went off and took out half of my house and set fire to me and my clothes and burned off all my hair. Big boom! Hey, bomb went off in your house, woke you up, and now I have trouble sleeping because any single sound that I hear. Because family over everything. Family over all. Family over everything, family over all equals let's put a bomb in somebody's house? I mean, that was October 16th, 2006. I mean, why? They were mad when I went to a doctor. They don't believe in doctors? I went to a doctor. I had one appointment. And he's like, well, let's run some tests. Did some blood work. Come back and wait. So, blood work. I go back in a week. I'm stuck in traffic. Stuck in traffic, stuck in traffic, stuck in traffic. There's a mushroom cloud. Looks like Hiroshima just went up. Who knows what that was? Continue to be stuck in traffic. Get to my doctor and... Oh. Well, that's what that was. Wow. Police officer Buddy Will is there. Do you have a doctor's appointment? I did. Where's the building? Yeah, bomb went off. Somebody put a bomb in the lab, and it had a chemical reaction to the chemicals in the lab, and it took out the doctor's office complex, and this hotel next door to it, and this set of condominiums next door to that. Yeah, I can see the whole block is gone. Michael David's a peach, isn't he? Yes, lovely. Oh, I went to a doctor, so they blew up the entire block. Killed the doctor, 3 of his nurses, and 21 patients. I was supposed to be there. I was stuck in traffic, or I would have been in that building. The only reason I'm alive right now is because I was stuck in traffic. That bomb went off at the time my appointment was. That was in 2003. That was 10 years before the Boston Marathon. Notice they always use grease fryers. Always grease fryers. Their bombs are always made out of grease fryers. That's what they used to blow up my house with. Grease fryer bomb. I didn't know they did the Boston Marathon. I didn't even know it had happened. That was when I met Andy Druer, the FBI agent Andy Druer. He's the one that's in charge of everything now. That was when I met him. He showed up at the house one day, and they're looking for Uncle Paul Martel, and I was like, Paul Martel? Wow, I haven't heard about him in years. Last time I heard about Paul Martel, I've never met him. I wouldn't even know what he looks like. I've never met him in person. I was like, no, I knew where he lived back in the 70s, but I think that it was a condominium complex place, and I think that whole condominium got torn down, and there's like a store there now or something. They didn't say why they were looking for him. I didn't know why they were looking for him. They were just wanting to know where's Paul Martel. But do you know any relatives that would know where he is? Well, his son lives over there. Maybe he knows. I don't know. His wife lives over there, but they got separated, and technically they're still married, and he married somebody else, but I think he left her and married somebody else. I don't think he divorced any of them. Other than that, I don't know. I've never met the guy. The FBI's like, okay, alright. And they left. And then a few weeks later, his wife is in a rage. What? She just went nuts on everybody. My husband was arrested. It's all your fault. She said it to every single person in the family. And I thought she was talking about Dan, because, I mean, that's the guy she was with at the time. No, I'm talking about Paul Martel. I could figure out what she was talking about. She shut up and yelled at me, and I was like, what are you talking about? No clue. And she left, and I yelled at my mother, and she went and yelled at Brucey, and everybody was trying to figure out, what is she talking about? And then it was on the news. Ben watches the news constantly, and he tells me, "Did you see this big FBI raid that was on the news down in Boston?" And he shows me the news. He's got the video footage. He shows me on YouTube. He shows me this video footage. And it's a news report announcing that they've finally caught the guy who built the bomb for the Boston Marathon. Not the two ISIS men who put the bomb there, but the guy who built the bomb and then sold it to them. So Ben didn't know, he doesn't know that side of the family. He doesn't know Barbara's people. Barbara's clan is a different clan. He didn't know them. So he's telling me about this. They caught this guy. He's all excited. They caught this guy. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Paul Martel. He's like, what? Do you know Paul Martel? That's my uncle. One of them. Notice there've been no more bombs since then. The last bomb that affected anybody in my family was just before that. The bomb at Walmart. Scarborough Walmart. And it was about a week before that. Since he was arrested, he's gone to prison. He's in prison now. Can't remember how many years he got. I think it was 15. I remember when it said how many years he got, and I was like, this is the guy who built a bomb that killed a lot of people. He sold this bomb to ISIS and killed a lot of people. He didn't get very many years in prison in comparison to what he did, I didn't think, but whatever, it's the way the law is, I guess. He's still in prison now, because he only went to prison in 2016. But since then, no bombs. None. It became pretty clear. It's been, well, what, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's been 5 years without a single bomb. None of my families have had houses blown up. None of them have had workplaces blown up. None of them have had colleges blown up. None of them have had doctors blown up in 5 years. And it was happening at a rate of 3 a year for well over 10 years. I've survived 5 bombs myself. It became pretty obvious with the fact that all of a sudden he's in prison, and now everybody in my family, no more bomb threats, no more bombs happening, no more buildings blown up, no more houses blown up, no more doctors' offices blown up, no more colleges blown up, no more Walmarts blown up. It became really obvious at that point that this is the guy who built the bomb who blew up my doctor's office. It killed my doctor. This is the guy who built the bomb that blew up my house. This is the guy that built the bomb that was in Walmart and college. He's one of my uncles. All these bombs that were happening to my family, one after another, we couldn't figure out who was doing it or why, and now it's known it was one of my uncles doing it to people in his own family, because Family over everything. I mean, do you see the logic in that? Family over everything, so put a bomb in their house. I mean, where is the logic in that? But since he went to prison, no more bombs, not a one. They're just done, gone. I don't understand why someone would do something like that. And you look at the people who kept having this happening. Everybody, they were all the same as me. They had left the Klan. These were all people who were born into the Klan. They didn't join it by free will. They were born into it. They wanted nothing to do with it, and as soon as they were 18 or whatever, they left. And some of them ran out when they were 10, 12 years old. I mean, some of them got out of there young. A lot of them didn't. And every single one of them who had a house blown up by a bomb, every single one of them who had a workplace blown up by a bomb, every single one of them who had a doctor that was killed by a bomb, all of them had that in common. They had left the Klan and tried to live on their own, not part of the Heaven's Gate compound. They wanted nothing to do with Heaven's Gate, and these people in Heaven's Gate, they can't believe that we worship God as an alien, and our babies grew up and didn't want to worship God as an alien with us, but put bombs in their houses. Why? I don't understand that. The whole thing is just, it's so insane. I mean, you start out with these people who believe this really wild God is an alien, lives on planet Kolob, he's flying in on the mothership, he's morphed with Trump, and now he's called King Trump instead of President Trump, and this other alien has come in and he's Biden, and I don't get it. I have studied so many religions because when I was in college, I kept changing my degree focus several times. So I was going for this degree, and I was like, no, I'd get the whole way, and I could graduate now, but I'd like to keep sewing in college, so let me change my degree, and then I would get the whole thing. So I spent a really long time in college, and just kept changing degree focus. And one of the ones I did was a world religion philosophy theology degree. And so I studied a lot of different religions. I've never seen anything like Heaven's Gate. I mean, growing up in Heaven's Gate, it was like this was normal because we had no access to knowing that there was anything like anything other than this. Or none of the kids went to school, none of the kids went to doctors. There was no electricity for most of the time. There was no radio, there was no TV. Nobody knew that anything outside the compound exists. People who were born in the compound, they had no clue that a world existed outside of the barbed wire fence. No clue at all, nothing. And then you get out of it, and you find out, oh my God, we're living in this place, it's called America. I've been out of the Klan for 30 years now, and I've still not been able to adjust to the Americans. Wow, are they bizarre. They're normal in comparison to them, but wow, are they bizarre. And a lot of that is, I grew up in Heaven's Gate, where aliens are God, and the president is a shapeshifter. But I never believed that. I always thought it was insane. It never made sense to me. So I never paid attention to it. And my grandmother would give me books. She would give me, I had Treasure Island and Little House on the Prairie books. And I used to read those over and over again because that's what I had to read. And you see, whenever something happens with my uncles, especially if the police and the FBI show up, like what happened today, you notice I immediately, it's like I can't do anything, and I go into just playing the game, and I'll play the game over and over and over again, and I get stuck in it. And people have asked me, how did you get so hung up on Avalar? But this is how I got so hung up on Avalar. My whole life, it was, my uncles are being crazy, they're doing stuff again, let's read Treasure Island again. Oh, they're doing something again, let's read Treasure Island again. And because there wasn't anything else, there was nothing else. You had the option, the Bible, the Book of Mormon, or Treasure Island. I mean, that's the book that was there. And I had already read the Bible 31 times at that point, and it was like, okay, I know the Bible inside out, let's read something else. Here's Treasure Island. My grandmother gave me Treasure Island, so I started reading Treasure Island over and over and over again. It developed into a cycle of whenever my uncles flipped out and did something, which was constantly, and they ran the clan, and nobody could do anything. It's like they were the government in their minds. They controlled everyone. The women had no freedom. The children had no freedom. It was these men who crowned themselves God over this little group that they had hoarded up in their fence with the barbed wire, and nobody could get out, and most of them didn't want to get out. But the children who were born into it, which I was one of them, weren't necessarily, it was like, with children, we would like to play with toys, and oh, it was so rare that you ever went outside the compound, and we went outside the compound once. I was, I think, 6 years old, and we went to Zayre's. It was a store in Saco. It's not there anymore. It got shut down. It went out of business. I don't think it was a franchise, was it? May have been. It was like this little store. It was just a base. It was like Walmart, only tiny. You know, they had groceries counter over here, and they had toys over here, and they had fabric over here, and hardware over here. But it was tiny. It was all in this one little small thing. So it wasn't like aisle after aisle after aisle. It was like, here's an aisle, and it's got 4 dolls and 4 trucks, and that's the toy department. It was tiny. And we had gone in there, and when the clan went anywhere, back at that point, everybody was still wearing prairie dresses. They've stopped doing that. They don't do it anymore. But everybody was wearing prairie dresses. So people used to think we were Amish. All the women had these long dresses. Looked like they just walked out of the 1800s. The sunbonnets covering their faces. The men all wore very Amish-looking stuff, and they all had their big beards and their hats, and people thought we were Amish. We weren't. Plus, horse-drawn buggies. Again, people thought we were Amish because we didn't have cars. We had horse-drawn buggies back then. It was a long time ago. And it was back 1970s when this happened. And I was maybe 6 years old at the time we went to this store. And all the men go in and do the shopping, and the women huddle up by the door. You go in, and you huddle up by the door around the kids, and it's like, what did they call those? Like wagon trains, where they put the wagons in a circle together, and everybody stayed in the middle of it for Indian attacks, like you see in the Old West movies. That type of a thing is what the situation was. All the women gather in a circle somewhere near the service desk, and all the kids stay in the middle of it, and everybody looks down because, oh, hell to pay if you dare make eye contact with strangers, and you are going to get beaten in the face with a brick. Men were vicious. I don't think people realize what living in a gypsy clan is like either, and the men control stuff so much. Women have no freedom at all. Children have no freedom at all. They are literally slaves to the men, and that is their only purpose. And it was worse in the 70s. I mean, it's a lot better now. A lot of gypsy clans are getting out of that. But in the 70s, that nobody even thought anything of trying to, you know, men controlled everything and we don't dare to do anything. And they considered me a rebel, and that's why they considered me a demon. When they called me a demon, they claimed that a demon had come and taken the actual baby and replaced it with me, and that was why I acted like I did. I got away from the group. There was toys. There was a shelf of toys. I'm like 6 years old, and there was this, and I went over to look at these dolls. It was Barbie dolls. And I remember there was this Barbie doll, and she had the pink dress on, and I have it. I have this doll now. But there was this doll. And the men were just, doing their thing, and I picked up this doll, and I went over, can we get this? They were nuts. They took the doll and threw that across the store, and then they grabbed these things that were on the shelf and started hitting me in the face with it. Just cans of food, hitting me in the face with it. They acted like they were going to kill me, and people thought they were. It caused a big scene in the store. This little old lady came over and started giving them hell. Then they left. We all left, and as we're leaving, everybody's getting back into their various horse and buggy things and motorhome things, and this was a huge gypsy caravan, and the whole clan went at once. We're talking 400 or 500 people. The whole clan went to the store at once. This little old lady comes out. She bought the doll, and she gave it to me, and they didn't take it away. I'm surprised they didn't. Like I said, I still have it. They did not take the doll away, but they were so pissed, and they wouldn't let me have it. We went home, and they put it up on a shelf where I couldn't reach it. And it was just it. It's here. You ain't touching it. I mean, their whole thing about Barbie was, look at her. This is evil. This is the epitome of massive evil. And then later, Barbara Palmertell's wife, she cut the head off the doll. So the doll now, I still have it. Again, I still have it all these years later. But her head's been cut off. So I have the doll and her head. When people hear the stuff that my uncles are doing today, like what they're doing right now at Washington, D.C., and they're like, how are these people this crazy? And I'm like, you don't realize what life with these men are like. When you look at what life with these men are like, you start to see why they think it's okay to go to Washington, D.C. and kill some politician, because they think they're God. They really think they're God. They think they are above the government. They call themselves sovereign citizens. They claim they are a sovereign nation, that they don't have to go by anything that America says. So many Americans look at what is going on. You watch people who are talking about what is happening in Washington, D.C., and they're like, these people are crazy, and they're pointing out, they're running around in loincloths and furs and horns and spears, and this is gypsy culture. You are seeing gypsy culture, and gypsies don't. This is what they're like. And gypsies are so rarely seen. That's the thing. They so rarely come out in public at all. And so when something like this happens, and a whole group of them join up, and that's the thing, people are looking at it and they're like, Trump supporters are doing this, and it's not Trump supporters. It's really not. You need to really look at these people. They have infiltrated Trump supporters. They just hate government. They don't care. Government is evil according to them. They don't care one way or the other. These aren't Republicans attacking because that's what Republicans do. They aren't Republicans. They don't care. They hate America. They're going to attack no matter what. People aren't thinking that because they're seeing these people at Trump rallies, and they're like, oh, they're Republicans. Look, they're rallying with the Trump people. They're not actually what they're claiming they are. They're crazy. David's insane. And he got worse when Brucey died, which just happened. The whole clan's on a warpath because they classified Brucey as the leader. He took over when Grandpa died. He's the leader of the clan, and he died. And they've gone nuts because they didn't plan on him dying. There's no replacement. They don't know what to do. They don't have another king lined up to replace him. The king of the gypsies is dead, and they don't know how to deal with it. They weren't prepared for this. They don't know how to exist without this leader. And that's a major problem with gypsy culture. That is a huge problem with gypsy culture because you will have one man who just takes over everything and he lets nobody do anything. Nobody. The lesser men have to get permission to do anything. Nobody has any money because this one man takes all the finances. If you go out and get a job, you're required to give all your money to him. Nobody has anything. Nobody's allowed to own anything. Nobody's allowed to keep their own money. It all goes to this guy because he is the king. And now that guy is dead, and they didn't have a replacement lined up because it happened so fast. They don't know how to deal with it. And the fact that he died from COVID-19, they're on a warpath because they believe the government has made COVID-19. They believe the government put COVID-19 out there to kill minority races. Well, who's more of a minority race than gypsies? And so that's what's going on. And these stupid idiots on the news reports are going, oh, look, yeah, no, these people, they're crazy Trump supporters. No, they're not crazy Trump supporters. This is damn fucking Heaven's Gate. You're dealing with Heaven's Gate, and their leader just died, and they're gypsies who are merely really angry. And because I have to be related to them, I have DNA all of a sudden. Well, the police and FBI are trying to catch them. How do we catch gypsies? We don't know how to catch gypsies. Gypsies are crazy. They run around and do all this crazy stuff like wild rampage, and we don't know what to do. Yeah. They do run around like wild, crazy, lawless cavemen. Yeah, you are going to have a hard time catching them. It's really hard to catch gypsies. It's really hard to stop them. That is a stereotype, but it's a stereotype because it's true. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, the police show up and they're, well, you're the queen of the gypsies. Well, you don't know what the queen of the gypsies means. It's not a royalty thing. It means I'm a priestess. It means I bless babies and I do exorcisms on houses that are supposedly haunted, even though I don't believe in haunted houses. It's the equivalent of me being the same thing as a Catholic nun in the Catholic Church. And the police and FBI show up and they're trying, well, you're the queen of the gypsies, you should know. No, I don't know. They haven't listened to me in decades. They started following the Heaven's Gate crazy lunacy. They don't believe the old gypsy religions anymore. I left them for a reason. I don't want them in my life. So I don't like it when the police are showing up. I mean, I like it that they're trying to stop them, but I don't like it that they're showing up and asking me because I don't know. been 30 years since I last seen any of these people face to face and talked with them. I don't know. When they killed all those people in California, I haven't had contact with them since then. Not since the big Heaven's Gate thing with the Kool-Aid. I haven't had contact with them since then. The only time I know anything that they're doing is like the other day when they were in my driveway chanting God King Trump. I was asleep. I woke up. I wake up and I'm like, what is that noise? And I look out the window and there's a bunch of David's crew out there chanting God King Trump, God King Trump, God King Trump. And I'm like, why are they in my driveway? What are they chanting God King Trump for? I never did find out. They finally left. I didn't go out there. And when you saw, I started streaming. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stream. I'm going to ignore them. They finally left. So I don't know why they were here. I don't know why they were chanting God King Trump. I want nothing to do with David's crew at all. I have my own life. And I got police knocking at the door. Well, one of your uncles is doing something again. Oh, whippy. What a surprise. It's actually been 24 hours since the last time the police was at the door telling me that. I left the clan for a reason. I don't want to be around them. Why? Why? Okay. Is it time to eat? What time is it? 7:48 a.m. Wow. I haven't gone to bed yet. It's time to get up. Yeah, fish have gone to bed. I should have known it's time to go to bed. It's that time. Good morning. Oh.